What if the secret to a really successful life wasn't about all those flashy techniques we hear about, but about something deeper? Well, that's the whole idea behind one of the most influential books of all time, Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So let's dive in and break down this powerful framework together.
So this is the exact question that got Covey started on his research. For 25 years, he worked with all these leaders and executives, people who, on paper, had totally made it. They had the success, the money, the status, and yet he kept seeing this pattern. Underneath it all, so many of them felt this deep sense of emptiness. He just had to figure out what was going on here. His research led him to this fascinating discovery about our history. See, before World War I, success was all about what he called the character ethic. The deep stuff, integrity, humility, justice. But after the war, everything shifted. The focus turned to the personality ethic, which is all about your public image, quick-fix techniques, and how you appear to others. And Covey's big argument is that this shift was a huge mistake. Because real, lasting effectiveness doesn't come from a polished image. It comes from your inner core, from a character built on solid, timeless principles. It's like Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What you are shouts so loudly in my ears, I cannot hear what you say."
So the 7 habits are basically a roadmap to build that character, and they guide us along what Covey calls the maturity continuum. We all start out as dependent on others, right? Then we grow into independence where we can take care of ourselves. But here's the kicker. The ultimate goal isn't just to be self-reliant. It's interdependence, where we choose to combine our strengths with others to do things we could never, ever do alone. This entire journey has to start with what Covey calls the private victory. And the idea is super simple. Before you can effectively work with other people, you first have to master yourself. Habits 1, 2, and 3 are all about getting you from dependence to true independence. Okay, habit 1. This is the absolute foundation. Nothing else works without it. Be proactive is all about that fundamental realization that you are the creator of your life. You are in the driver's seat. You're responsible for your choices and where they take you. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Think about it. Reactive people are driven by their feelings, by the circumstances, even by the weather. But proactive people, they're driven by their values. No matter what happens to them, there's a space where they choose how to respond. The second habit is all about vision. It's about knowing exactly where you want to go, so that every single step you take is in the right direction. It's so easy to get caught up climbing the ladder of success, only to get to the top and realize it was leaning against the wrong wall the whole time. So to find that right wall, Covey gives us this incredibly powerful, if a little intense, thought experiment. Picture your own funeral. Seriously, what would you want people to say about who you were and how you lived? By starting with the end, you connect with what truly matters, and that lets you write a personal mission statement. Basically, a constitution for your entire life. Okay, so if habit 1 is realizing you're in charge, and habit 2 is deciding where you're going, well, habit 3 is about actually doing it. This is the practical day-to-day application of the first two. And it's not about time management, it's about self-management. It's a discipline to act on your priorities. Now, this is one of the most famous parts of the book. Most of us live our lives in quadrant I, dealing with crises that are both urgent and important. We're just putting out fires all day. But highly effective people, they consciously choose to spend their time in quadrant 2. That's the stuff that's important but not yet urgent, like planning, relationship building, and real long-term thinking. All right, once you've achieved that self-mastery, that private victory, then and only then are you ready for the public victory. This is where you make that leap from independence to interdependence by learning how to work and collaborate effectively with other people. And the core idea here is this amazing metaphor, the emotional bank account. Think of it this way. In every relationship, you have a bank account of trust. Every time you're kind, keep a promise, or truly listen, you make a deposit. Every time you're dismissive or break a promise, you make a withdrawal. Effective people work hard to keep a high balance in all their accounts. This habit, it's not just a tactic. It's a whole philosophy of life. It's moving away from the idea that for me to win, you have to lose. It's a mindset that says, hey, let's find a solution that works for both of us. It sees life as a cooperative stage, not a competitive battlefield. Now, to really live a win-win life, Covey says you need 3 key things. You need integrity, so you're true to yourself. You need maturity, which is that balance of being courageous but also considerate. And maybe most important of all, you need an abundance mentality. This is the belief that there's plenty out there for everybody. Someone else's success doesn't take away from yours. It's a total game changer.
Okay, pay attention, because this might be the single most important communication principle ever. And it's a habit that almost all of us get completely backward. I mean, this quote just says it all. We do this all the time, right? While someone else is talking, we're not really listening, we're just preparing our rebuttal in our heads. The key is what Covey calls empathic listening. Listening with your ears, your eyes, and your heart to genuinely get where they're coming from. Only then have you earned the right to be understood. And that brings us to habit 6, synergize. This is the habit of creative cooperation. It's where all the other habits come together to produce results that are just, well, they're pretty incredible. Synergy is that magic where 1 + 1 = 3, or 10, or even 100. It happens when we stop seeing differences as a threat and start seeing them as a strength. When two people can look at the same thing, see it differently, and both be right, that's where true creative breakthroughs happen. And finally, we get to the habit that makes all the others possible. Habit 7 is the engine that keeps the whole system running, not just for a week or a month, but for a lifetime.
Covey tells this great little story about a woodcutter who's working furiously to cut down a tree. Someone asks him why he doesn't stop to sharpen his saw, and he says, "I'm too busy sawing." Well, that's us when we neglect ourselves. Sharpening the saw means consistently renewing ourselves in the 4 key areas of life: physical, mental, social/emotional, and spiritual. This isn't a luxury, it's an absolute necessity.
So, let's bring it all home. The really crucial thing to get is that the 7 habits aren't just a random list of good ideas. They are a complete, integrated framework for becoming a more effective person from the inside out.
If you don't remember anything else, remember this journey. Focus on who you are, your character, not just how you look to others. Get that private victory. Master yourself before you try to master teamwork. Aim for that highest level of interdependence, and never ever stop investing in your greatest asset, you.
So I'll leave you with the same powerful question Covey always asked. What's the one thing you could start doing right now that, if you did it all the time, would make a huge positive difference in your life? Chances are, whatever you just thought of is a quadrant 2 activity. It's important, but it's not screaming for your attention. Making time for that one thing, that's the very first step on the path to becoming a truly effective person.